Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to the session. Today, we're going to start with some interesting cat passages. I'm Shweta Sharma, and I welcome you to Career Launcher. Today, we're going to discuss some good previous year's cat passages, and they're going to be based on culture. The number of words we're going to read today are 501. Okay, so before we start, I would like to just introduce you to reading comprehension. What all types of passages are there? How can we go about by solving the questions, and what all question types can be there? Okay, so when it comes to any reading comprehension, guys, the first and the foremost thing we always look at is that what type of passage is it? What genre am I going to read from? Right? So it's very important to make yourself adapt with different genres. So any RC passage, it comes under three sections. One is the introduction, where you get to see the claim of the author, the body, where you get to see what is the main idea, where you have some kind of justification through some examples, some analogies. The author gets rhetorical, or he would even share some relations. This leads to this. Okay, and on the basis of what he's trying to claim and with the body of the passages, he would eventually come to a conclusion. For example, if there is a passage wherein the author says that pregnant women should not consume alcohol, you know, so this is what the claim of the author is, that pregnant women should avoid alcohol consumption. This is what the claim of the author is. Okay, he's claiming this. Now, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? We have to prove this. So, what would he do? He would give you some, reasons to support his argument that pregnant women should consume liquids or something else, but no alcohol. He would give you reasons stating that a liver of a baby, which is inside, like the fetus, and a mother, the digestive rates are very different. Then he might show you some examples wherein women consumed alcohol while they were carrying a baby, and they delivered really, you know, children like which faced disorder issues, some kind of mental disorder, right? Or some permanent disorder which could not be changed later on. And then they might show you, how the blood passes through the placenta, through the, mother's liver, and then the baby's liver, and how it carries alcohol, and it's having the same impact on the same liver, even if the baby's liver is not formed completely. And then it might say, ki, henceforth, on these basis of all these reasons, we can say that the pregnant women should avoid alcohol consumption. So, what we're trying to relate through this is that any passage which is given to you, it will have an introduction, it'll have a body, it'll have a conclusion. All we got to do is we got to understand what is the passage based on, what is the main idea that the author is talking about, and eventually on what main, things are the author resting his, is the author resting his opinion? How does he opine about the passage? Okay, this is something which is primarily very important. Next thing which is important is to be an eclectic reader. We always tell you that you should read from different genres because cat doesn't care, which stream you're coming from. They want you to have knowledge, not specifically knowledge, but at least uh, your mind should be able to build schema. When we say schema, it's basically the connections with the mind. So if you've read philosophy before, naturally you'll be able to relate to the philosophical passages a little better, right? If you are very good with the history passages, maybe when it comes to US history passages, you'd be happy to have those passages in your exam. At the same time, if you are not very fan of classical literature and you come across a classical literature passage, you might just feel a little off. So in order to make sure that we like to read whatever we are reading, we have to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. So I would always suggest my students to please read from different genres so that when it comes to testing us through cat mocks or the real cat, It's always the same, and we don't find it a little different for us because we've been reading regularly. And this is a good time to start. It's already month of March, and good time to start with some good genres you can pick, and make sure that you know you're building that habit and keeping it regularly. So, without a further ado, let's start with the passages. Before we start with the passage, again, one thing: the question types. The question types can be asked in a direct or in an indirect manner. Okay. So when I say direct, what does it mean? It's like a fact based question, right? When it's an indirect question type, what does it mean? It is an inference based question, right? So when it is a question type, like, what does the author say when he says so and so? Um, the contextual, reference to something, it's always direct. And the question is about what is the central idea, what is the primary purpose of the passage. It is most often inferential. Okay, so it's important to understand that what the author says, how do we interpret it, and then eventually how do we relate to it. Now let's start with this passage, which is based on genre culture, and we have 501 words. So I'm just displaying the passage to you. We'll be discussing it after maybe 4 to 5 minutes. Quickly go through the passage and then we discuss it, guys. Please let me know if you're done with the paragraph and we move ahead to the next one. Okay, let's move ahead to the next one. Okay, let me show you the questions then. Just one more paragraph. Then we move ahead. After this, we have questions. So let me know once you're done. We quickly discuss this, guys. All right, let's have a look at the passage together then. It says luxury sector has long argued that a vast army of artisans with specialized skills and a tradition of passing technical knowledge through generations offers the ultimate riposte of fast. Just a moment, guys. So it says the luxury sector has long argued that a vast army, unsung army of artisans and specialized skills and tradition of passing technical knowledge through generations offers the ultimate riposte of fast fashion. What does it mean? That luxury sector has long argued that a vast unsung army of artisans. There are people who are into arts, right? Artisans who've been creating, different. ideas, implementing and getting the fashion in place. With specialized skills and a tradition of passing technical knowledge through generations, offers the ultimate repost of fast fashion that shows that the fast fashion is still in place. If we create luxury goods with passion and care and mend them when they wear out, we appreciate them more and shop less. I recall the most expensive fashion item I bought in my 20s, a pair of Oliver Sweeney shoes that were resold 3 times and lasted a decade. This logic echoes the slow food movement founded by Italian activist Carlo Petrini in 1986, which sought to counter fast food by preserving traditional cuisine and local ecosystems. Yet, uneasy compromises exist. Small producers are both protected and, uh, yeah. Yet, where are we? Sorry, I missed it. I recall the most expensive fashion item I bought in my 20s, a pair of Oliver Sweeney shoes that were resold 3 times, and I lasted a decade. This logic echoes the slow food movement founded by Italian activist Carlo Petrini in 1986, which sought to counter fast food by preserving traditional cuisines and local ecosystems. Yet uneasy compromises exist. Small producers are both protected, integrated into a global system, now dominated by giants like LVMH. At Melis, I'm seduced by the artisans. I meet workers whose dedication runs deep, often follow in the footsteps of many family members driving west to meet Golevani Taciti, the MNC of Grace of Taciti shoemaking family, witnessed a lifetime of passion. Now in his 70s, Giovanni recalls of beginning work at the age of 14, saying, "At home, I breathed in the scent of shoes." Right. Okay, and then says, he reminisces, "I came into the factory at 7 in the morning, even on weekends. This place was like my wife." His story embodies the profound bond between craftsman and craft. Okay. I ventured north into Epines to visit Antica Valriso in Castelnuovo. You can just name it as CG. Here, woven textiles emerged from a blend of sophisticated modern machinery and decades old hand looms. Hand weaving is slow, yet the looms are treated with reverence, with full respect, as though the soul of Antica, dating back to 1947, lives within every thread. While Italy may lead in luxury manufacturing, artisanal expertise, that is how the fashion has to be carried forward, which thread to be worn where, that flourishes globally. In West Africa, events like Lagos Fashion Week challenge Western dominance and spotlight regional textile traditions. In Japan, skilled craft workers celebrated as living national treasures receive government support. Last December in China, often synonymous with fast fashion, I visited Xinjiang, a family run business on the edge of Suzhou, where an exceptional silk embroidery workshop preserves ancient techniques. Further south in Shenzhen, designer Liang Zi has maintained a centuries old method of making silk, dyeing the fabric with Chinese yam juice and dyeing it in sun soaked fields. Selling a deep down garments under the Tanguy brand in a Paris boutique. Does luxury really matter in a world in frantic turmoil? I would argue it does. Craft, once seen as the poor cousin of high art, reveals that art need not hang solely in galleries. Haute couture dresses, that is, very high fashion dresses, hand stitched, embroidered, dyed, and beaded in Paris ateliers become collectibles. Like everybody's collecting them to keep them for some time. Okay, maybe gift it to your friends and family. Celebrities now embrace vintage pieces, like the old pieces redefined secondhand as covetable. And then my personal journey has taught me that luxury is a positive force for good. Perhaps you cannot afford a tangy, gambered silk shirt or a Melis cashmere cardigan, but luxury appears in both grand and modest forms. Consider the pasticini of Arizona, a small indulgence that truly proves luxury is something that matters. So, very interesting passage based on different cultures, that in different cultures, how the different quality of fabric is considered to be important. how that particular fashion is important, what is being considered more important than the others. Okay, that is what the passage entirely talks about. So we started with luxury sector where money is involved with the fabric, fast fashion. We talked about goods with passion and care, and then how they are meant to be worn. We appreciate them more and more, shop less. I recall the most expensive fashion item I bought in my 20s, a pair of Oliver Sweeney shoes that were resold 3 times and lasted a decade. It was still something I could wear for 10 years, like really good with the quality. And this logic echoes the slow food movement. This shows that Italian activist Carlo Pentri, he, created such movement that it is like slow food movement, that food should be eaten slowly. Similarly here, the product should be worn for long. It doesn't get worn out early. Uneasy compromises exist. Small producers are both protected and integrated into a global system. We're not worried about what is being, say, imported, but we're more concerned about that the small medium enterprises should sustain, and that too when they are weaving some textiles for you. Right, so the past is entirely cultural based. Let's have a look at some questions very quickly before we wind up for the session. I would want you guys to please have a look at this question, guys, and let me know your answer. I'll be waiting for a moment. And at the same time, you can also ask me to take you back to the paragraph anywhere. Be wary of the question stem. It says author mentions all of the following except. So what is not mentioned is your answer choice. Please have a look at the question. Once you're done, we discuss it. So what does it say? Author mentions all of the following except. What does it not mention? Essential role of traditional artisans in countering fast fashion. Traditional artisans, they have an important role. So if it is mentioned, it is not your answer choice, right? We're looking for something which is not mentioned. So if A is mentioned, that is not my answer choice. So this similarly, you've got to eliminate the other options and give me the correct answer. Influence of the slow food movement in inspiring a more sustainable approach. These are all given, right? Dominance of global conglomerates like LVMH and caring in shaping luxury markets. Impact of digital marketing strategies and promoting brands. Where are we using this? We do have everything mentioned. This should not be the answer. Something which is not mentioned has to be your answer choice. Okay. So answer is D, impact of digital marketing strategies, which is not mentioned. Please have a look at this option. This question and tell me if you figure out the right answer. Quick 1 minute, then we discuss. Shall we have a look at the question together? It says author's overall tone in the passage can be best described as what? Is it reverent and admiring? Yes, he's respectful about the artisanal craftsmanship. So we can consider A, we can hold on to option number A. Critical and dismissive, is he criticizing and focusing on the flaws of the luxury integration? No. He's no mere demeaning them or no dogmatically stating that this is something which is really bad, criticizing the luxury integration. So it's not been done. So answer is A alpha for this question. Ironic, detached, questioning the legitimacy, whether it's even legitimate traditional practices? Not really. Indifferent and factual, merely reporting historical details without personal sentiment. Not really considerable. So answer should be reverent and admiring, emphasizing the intrinsic value of craftsmanship. Okay, answer is A. Let's have a look at the next question very quickly. Author is unlikely to disagree with any of the following except. Okay. Artisanal craftsmanship enhances the quality and longevity of luxury goods. Preserving traditional techniques helps counter the wastefulness of fast fashion. Integrating small artisanal workshops into global markets can be beneficial, or that fast fashion's focus on rapid disposable consumption is superior to slow, mindful production. So, here again, it is basically referring to something which the author is unlikely to disagree with, right? Except. So, whatever you feel that the author is agreeing is anyway not your answer. I mean, it has to be your answer, but eventually you eliminate it for now. Author is unlikely to disagree with, right? Is the author disagreeing with this artisanal craftsmanship? Yes. Unlikely to disagree, that means he will agree. Or he might not agree, but he would not disagree, right? If he agrees or if he doesn't touch upon the topic, that's not your answer, right? If he disagrees or he doesn't disagree, you eliminate the option. The one which is left is the one where the author agrees with, which has to be option number D, that is fast fashion focus on rapid disposable consumption, which is superior to slow, mindful production. Okay. Best sums up the last paragraph of the passage. So I'll show you the passage quickly. Last paragraph. This is the one. And then we quickly discuss the question, guys. I presume that we've had enough time to read it. So let's move to the question. Okay. Best sums up the last paragraph of the passage. Luxury is defined solely by high cost items, manifest in both grand and modest forms. Traditional luxury is being supplanted, or true value of luxury lies exclusively in sincerity. It should be, it is both in grand and modest forms, positively enriching everyday life. So B Bombay is the correct answer. In case you guys have any questions, we can connect for that. If not, guys, thank you so much for joining in. And it's always nice to connect with you people, right? Make sure that you join us every time for these quick sessions and enrich yourself with the different sorts of passages. We bring in more interesting passages for you. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.